Did Kendrick Lamar just deliver the worst Super Bowl halftime performance ever? The Super Bowl halftime show is one of the biggest stages in the world. It's where legends are made, careers are cemented, and sometimes things don't go as planned. This year, Kendrick Lamar took the stage, and fans are not holding back. The internet is flooded with reactions, and a large number of fans are calling it the worst Super Bowl halftime performance in history. Yes, you read that right. Kendrick Lamar, one of the most critically acclaimed rappers of our time, is being dragged for his performance. How did this happen? Was it really that bad? Or are people just overreacting? Let's break it down. When it was first announced that Kendrick Lamar would be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show, fans had mixed reactions. Some were excited, knowing that Kendrick is one of the best lyricists in the game. Others were skeptical, wondering if his deep and poetic style would translate well to a stage that thrives on high-energy, crowd-pleasing anthems. Super Bowl performances are about spectacle, showmanship, and mass appeal. Would Kendrick be able to deliver? As soon as the performance started, the internet went into overdrive. Social media lit up with reactions, and the majority of them were not positive. Fans complained that the energy was low, the setlist was underwhelming, and the overall execution just didn't match the level of previous Super Bowl performances. Some even compared it to legendary flops like Maroon 5's halftime show in 2019, which was widely panned for being forgettable. One of the biggest criticisms was the lack of crowd engagement. The Super Bowl audience is made up of casual music fans, not just hip-hop heads. While Kendrick has a loyal following, his setlist didn't seem to resonate with the broader audience. Fans expected bangers, energy, and a spectacle, but instead, many felt like they were watching a deep, introspective performance that didn't belong on this stage. Another issue that fans pointed out was the stage production. In comparison to past Super Bowl performances, where artists like Beyoncé, Prince, and even Rihanna delivered visually stunning spectacles, Kendrick's set felt minimalistic. While some appreciated the artistic approach, the general consensus was that it lacked the grandeur expected at the Super Bowl. Of course, there are those who came to Kendrick's defense. Some fans argued that people simply don't understand his artistry. Kendrick has never been the type of artist to rely on flashy performances or over-the-top gimmicks. He's a storyteller, a poet, and a rapper who prioritizes substance over style. His supporters believe that the backlash comes from people who expected a different kind of show rather than appreciating the one he delivered. But even among his fans, there's an acknowledgement that the performance didn't live up to expectations. Some pointed out that Kendrick was much more engaging during his appearance at the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show when he performed alongside Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and Mary J. Blige. That performance had energy, nostalgia, and a lineup that appealed to a wider audience. This time, Kendrick was on his own, and the difference was noticeable. So, was this really the worst Super Bowl halftime performance of all time? That's up for debate. Some fans still believe that honor belongs to the Black Eyed Peas' 2011 performance, which was heavily criticized for bad vocals and awkward choreography. Others point to Maroon 5's uninspired set, or even The Weeknd's 2021 performance, which had mixed reactions due to its unusual stage setup. But what makes Kendrick's situation different is the level of expectation. He's widely regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. His albums have won countless awards. His lyrics are studied like poetry, and his live performances are usually praised. That's why this backlash is hitting harder. People expected greatness, and when they didn't get it, the disappointment was amplified. It's also worth noting that hip-hop at the Super Bowl is still a relatively new thing. For decades, the halftime show was dominated by pop and rock artists. It wasn't until recent years that hip-hop started getting its shine on this stage. When Dr. Dre curated the 2022 show, it was a huge moment for the culture. Since then, every hip-hop performance at the Super Bowl has been under extra scrutiny. Some fans feel that the backlash against Kendrick is part of a larger issue, one where hip-hop artists are judged more harshly than pop stars when they take the Super Bowl stage. Despite the negativity, there's no denying that Kendrick Lamar is still one of the most influential artists in music. One underwhelming performance doesn't erase his legacy. However, this situation does raise an interesting question. Should certain artists avoid the Super Bowl halftime show altogether? Some rappers thrive in an intimate setting where lyrics and storytelling are the focus. Others are natural performers who can command a stadium. Maybe Kendrick is just better suited for the former. At the end of the day, the Super Bowl halftime show is a tough gig. It's nearly impossible to please everyone. Every year, there's controversy, debate, and endless social media arguments about whether the performance was good or bad. This year, Kendrick Lamar is at the center of it all. Whether he cares about the backlash or not remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure. This will go down as one of the most talked about halftime shows in history. What do you think? Was Kendrick's performance really that bad? Or are people just being too critical? Let the debate continue.